Arsenal draw Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarter-finals. What an opportunity to finally right them wrongs of Bayern Munich constantly knocking us out. Are Arsenal capable of doing it? Absolutely. Is this an easy draw? No. If you come to this video hoping to hear reasons on why this draw will be so easy and Arsenal will progress to the semi-finals with no problems, this is not going to be the video, because these are going to be tough games, but I'm going to tell you why this draw makes so much sense, why it's perfect for Arsenal in so many ways. Before we get into it, if you could just do me the favour of giving me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy this type of content. So let's get into it. So it was just inevitable, wasn't it? Arsenal and Bayern Munich almost seen synonymous in this competition. You know, it was never going to be any other team, was it? And there is a narrative, you know, not just because it's Bayern Munich, there's also an extra added layer now with the fact that Harry Kane has gone to Bayern Munich, and that just makes this tie slightly more interesting for me. There's so many things to get into in this video. Look, I'm seeing this narrative being built online that Arsenal are basically guaranteed to get through against this Bayern Munich team. Now, maybe this isn't the Bayern Munich team of years gone by, but listen to some of their players. They still have an incredible team. Let's just forget about the best striker in the world, Harry Kane, okay? They've also got Kingsley Coman, Leroy Sane, Serge Gnabry, Musiala, Kimmich, Goretzka, and then look at their defence. And if you're looking at their team and being honest, their defence probably is the section of the team that they're most vulnerable. But let's not pretend they've got a weak defence. Just listen to these players. These players would still get into most teams, by the way. Listen, Kim Min-jae, Upamecano, dodgy, but still a decent player. Then you got De Ligt, who Arsenal have been linked with recently. Then you got Alphonso Davies. And then Manuel Neuer in goal. Let's not pretend this isn't a star-studded team. But there are areas of this team that I look at and think, right, if we're going to have success in this game, you know, you can pinpoint areas. And their defence probably is a major factor. Now, I think Kim Min-jae is a good player, but he probably hasn't settled into life as quickly as a lot of people would have imagined. You know, many people wanted Kim Min-jae before he went to Bayern Munich because he is an outstanding player. But for some reason, Thomas Tuchel hasn't been able to sort of get this team singing from the same hymn sheet. You know, there's you know, it's a bit all up in the air over there in Munich, to be honest. They're not really a team that seem to be playing with too much harmony. You know, Bayern Munich are usually a shoo-in for the Bundesliga. That's probably why Harry Kane went there, because he wanted to get his hands on some silverware. Is that going to happen this year? No. Harry Kane is allergic to trophies everywhere he goes. And he's gone to Bayern Munich, and they're second in the league, 10 points behind Granit Xhaka's Bayer Leverkusen. There's an irony to it, and I absolutely love it. But just because they're not doing good in the league doesn't mean they're not going to be deadly in the Champions League. This is a team with massive pedigree. This is a team whose name does hold weight, you know, and it does ring out across Europe. When you hear Bayern Munich in the Champions League, you know it's going to be a tough evening. You know, Arsenal just played against Porto. A lot of people imagined it would be an easy or comfortable fixture. Some people didn't, but some people thought Arsenal would be definitely guaranteed to go through to the quarterfinals. Now, it did play out that way in the end, but it wasn't quite as easy as a lot of people would have hoped and imagined. So the Bayern Munich game definitely will come with its complications, because that front line, I think, you know, if you're looking player for player, it's probably up there with any attack in world football. If you got Leroy Sane on the left, Gnabry on the right, Harry Kane up front, and Musiala as the centre attacking midfielder, you know, I'm looking at Arsenal's team and I'm thinking this Bayern Munich team is every bit as good. Now, I prefer Arsenal's, of course, I'm an Arsenal fan, but you have to look at that and appreciate how good that team is and understand that there's a lot of goals and a lot of players capable of causing problems for a lot of teams. Now, like I said, Bayern Munich's defence isn't as good. It's certainly nowhere near as good as Arsenal's. And I think that's where this game's going to be won and lost for Arsenal. It's going to be with our defence. Like I said, you can't really split them in terms of attacking prowess on both teams. You know, Bayern Munich and Arsenal both have fantastic attacks. But the thing with Arsenal is I think our midfield's a lot more settled now with the introduction of Jorginho, Declan Rice and Odegaard. And especially if we can get Thomas Partey up to a level that he was last season. We haven't seen it yet since Thomas Partey's come back. But let's not forget how good and how crucial Thomas Partey can be for this Arsenal team. Just in terms of strength, solidity, I think he can offer a lot. I know a lot of people have already made their mind up on Thomas Partey, and that's okay. But I just still think if we can get that Thomas Partey back from last season in this game or in a game like this, you know, Champions League, where you are going to be playing at home first, which doesn't benefit Arsenal. You know, the first home leg of this tie, we have to win. You know, you always want in the Champions League to play the second leg as a home game. You want the return leg at home. You know, and I understand the argument of why this can help Arsenal playing the first game at home. You know, we haven't, with this team, got as far in a competition like this with this team yet. So you understand if you're playing the first leg, you're at home, you're in front of your home fans. And that will probably be boosted now by the fact that we know that Bayern Munich are not going to have any fans in attendance. They got banned from UEFA for letting off fireworks and stuff like that. So when they play at the Emirates on mid-April, it's just going to be Arsenal fans. Now, you're going to get that odd rogue Bayern Munich fan who has to buy a ticket and sit in the home end, but they're not going to be able to cause as much of a atmosphere anywhere near to the amount that they would have if they had that 3,000 or 5,000 allocation in the away end. So that's definitely one reason why this could be the perfect game. Like I said, first time in the quarterfinals, you're playing a massive European team. You know, the first leg's at home. It gives you the advantage of playing first and trying to get one up on them. And not only that, they're not able to bring any of their support with them. So that's one reason that definitely benefits Arsenal. And the second is, you know, if we beat Bayern Munich, we're going to have to play probably the best team in the competition in the next round. You know, going into this competition, the favourites were Man City, Real Madrid, Arsenal and Bayern Munich. Whether you believe that or not, whether I believed it or not, those were the four teams that were singled out as being the most likely to win this competition. And they're all in the same side of the draw. So there's no better team to set you up, you know, for a game against Man City or Real Madrid. Now, I hope Real Madrid win that game, only because if Arsenal win, I want to play a new team. So I'd like to go and play Real Madrid. But just how difficult is that side? You know, you look at the other side and you got Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. Now, I like Dortmund, but I think Atletico Madrid, they're just a horrible team to play, aren't they? The way they're set out, they're like Porto ×5 in terms of frustration. They just know how to play the game. So many masters of the dark arts in that team. Slow the game down. But more recently, they have been sort of looked at as a team that likes to play. You know, they got players like Griezmann who can play, but they're just a very defensively solid team, hard to break down. So I think Dortmund are probably going to struggle with that. And then the other game, you got Barca versus PSG, both not that strong a team, to be honest, in my opinion. I think Arsenal would have been able to beat any team on that side, with Atletico probably being the team that Arsenal would have struggled with most. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. Who do you think is going to go through out of the other games? Do you think it's going to be Atletico or Dortmund and PSG and Barca? I think it's going to be Atletico to go through. And then I think PSG are probably going to go through against Barca. Like I said, it's a poor Barca team. PSG aren't that strong. Certainly not very strong in terms of European heritage. They've never been able to do anything in Europe. They've bought the super team. It never worked out for them. So I probably expect Atletico to go through the furthest in that team. And I don't think they're the best in terms of talent, but just the way they play, just how rigid they are, just how stingy they are. I think Atletico is going to go through on that side. And then that leaves you on this side. Arsenal are going to beat Bayern. Let me know your thoughts on the Arsenal versus Bayern game, by the way. What do you expect the score to be? Do you think it's an advantage playing the first leg at home for the reasons that I've laid out in this video? And then if we do beat them, that does set up a mouth-watering clash between Man City and Real Madrid. Like I said, hopefully Real Madrid beat Man City, because I don't want to play Man City in the next round. Not because of who they are, and like I said before, they're a brilliant team and everything, but you get to play them in the Premier League, and I want to play a team like Real Madrid. So it'd be interesting to see that game between Real Madrid and Man City, because last time they played, it wasn't close. Man City slapped them 4-0 at home, you know, and sent Real Madrid packing. I think they've played them now in the last 3 seasons. So Real Madrid and Man City always seem to play each other. Arsenal and Bayern Munich always seem to play each other, but it's definitely this side of the draw that has the most interesting clashes. Like I said, let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, do me the favour of giving me a thumbs up on this video, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.